the Giz. You ask who's in the Giz. You ask how is it all put together. Let us take you behind the scenes of it all. Courtesy of lovaillong and Vernon Williams presents. You have now been granted access to the Giz 24/7.
What up, DMV? Access has been granted to the Giz 24/7. Like Mr. 24/7. Fix your face.
You got me, right?
Can I say my line? Can I say my line?
2014, man, we was at Coffee County Correctional Facility. Me and Saladin was sitting down, eating steak and lobsters and shrimp. We was trying to figure out how.
That was eating steak and lobster in the gym? That was eating better than me, and I was home.
We was eating that steaks and lobsters and shrimp. So I was sitting down to him. We always conversating about how we can make ourselves better. So I told him, I said, man, look, I knew the Wiz was coming on that night. And I'm like, you know, man, look, the Wiz is coming on. I told him, I said, look here, bro, we need to put something in our culture. And bingo, that's when it happened. I sat there. I came up with the concept. I asked him, he got all excited and smiling and spitting on himself. And like, bro, that's going to be good. So I was basically like, that's what we're going to do. A lot of people then, while we was talking about it in prison, they was thinking like, yeah. But we here. We here, man. We are definitely here.
I ain't had nothing to lose, so at that moment I was with whatever, you know. So that was big bird, and it made sense too. Like everybody like the Wiz, and when we from everybody like Go-Go, you put it together, you got the Giz, you got win-win. So you know, I was with it.
It means history, it means culture, it means my city, it means I wanted to do something to put on for my city. It means Chuck Brown, Big G, Polo, Little Benny. It means the world to my culture, my city, 202-301-703.
So the Giz is our culture. The Giz is the DC adaptation of the Wizard of Oz, of the Wiz, but with a go-go swing. Without giving you too much, the Giz will, everybody that's from the DC area, that grew up on go-go music, grew up in this culture, grew up in this area, it will give you a reminiscent atmosphere of places you've been, things you've seen over the years, and it'll give you that feel-good Wiz spirit, but in your own hometown. Anybody that's not from here and come to this show, it'll give you a history of what we do here, to give you a history of our culture, and you'll leave here knowing, wow, so that's what go-go music is about. That's what the history of it is. So for me, like, that's what the Giz is. The Giz, not the Giz. The Giz is the Wiz, but with a G, like go-go or gizzard. The G in it stands for go-go, and it's all about our culture. And you're going to see so many things pertaining to our culture in this show that you will leave here with your whole family, kids to adults, feeling really good about what they saw and what they came to see. So that's definitely what it means to me. That's what it's all about.
Well, we didn't actually meet the first time I called him. I was already in, so I was searching my phone. Don't try to tell nobody again. I was searching my phone in prison, and I was looking for directors. I came across a guy named Vernon, And first thing I know is I said, okay, he got a little schoolboy swag. So when I look at people, I'm looking at people with their swag. Like, what can you bring to the table? Because I think with directing or filming, if you don't have swag and charisma and your talent, it's gonna show. So once I saw him, he had the little bow tie and the hat on his head. I said, man, I can do something with him. So I studied him a little more. I think he had a show, Secret Lies and Scandal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was first trying to see, did it sell out? I was trying like, did he sell out? Did he sell out? I'm looking at it. You know, I liked it, the playbill. I watched everything. So once I became interested in him, I said, well, let me try to get his number. I called a couple of people, talked to this guy named Bernard Tad. He was like, he can get in touch with him. I got the number.
Hey, Bernard, don't give my number to nobody else.
I got the number, I called him, and I gave him the idea.
When was the point you realized working with Lavelle and Saladin was something you wanted to be a part of?
I think when we were in production with There's a Stranger in My House, you know, I had talked to Lavelle on the phone a few times, and he said, well, let me, we can work on this other one. So when he came to help me with A Stranger in My House, we wasn't partners or anything at that moment. At that moment, it was, he came in to just help out. I mean, he brought food to rehearsals. He sat in rehearsals quiet, just watched rehearsals. And it was him showing me, you know, something that he has that he's fully enabled with, is that loyalty and family. So he was just wanted to show me that he could be loyal and down with the project, you know, all the way in. So, you know, just sitting having conversations with him. I didn't meet Saladin off the break just yet. I just met Lavelle, and meeting with him, you know, we had some conversations. We went to lunch to Jazz Buzz and had conversations and stuff. And just talking to him and his background, I didn't know nothing about him, but just seeing how passionate he was about anything that he does made me feel like, well, you know, we probably can do something. And then once I met Saladin and we all sat down and talked, and I actually went to meet them one day. We set this whole meeting up, and I had to go meet them at the house. And I said, I tell y'all what, you know, just put together a synopsis for me. Just start writing something so I can see what y'all trying to do. And when I got there and I read what they had put down, I ain't gonna lie, like I was shocked. Like I'm like, oh, this kind of all right. Okay, yeah, okay, well, let's do something. And we sat right there that whole day and wrote probably the first 3 scenes of the play, talking about more ideas for others. Just us sitting down, bouncing ideas off each other. And I'm gonna tell you one of the major things that made me say, man, I want to work with this dude. When me and Lavelle sit down, or we had phone conversations, or we sit down talking, or we sit down eating breakfast, and when we bouncing ideas and storylines off each other, we come up with 3, 4, 5 more stage plays or things right in the conversation. So to me, that's what made me say, ain't nobody but God put this together, because we may come from different sides of the track, but when we put our heads together, it's unstoppable.
What was your thoughts when you first met Vernon? Did you believe he could be the director to bring you guys' visions to life?
Yeah, my first thought was, well, the first production, I met him, and I gave him a call. I was in Virginia. I came up from Atlanta, Georgia, and I gave him a call. And it was the first time he, like, paid some attention to me on the phone. So I was thinking then, like, if I could get him to see the vision, that it could be something good. So I came into one of his practices. He invited me to a practice. And I came into one of his practices, and what enthused me was the way that he was teaching. So I'm passionate about putting things on, bringing things together. Been doing it all my life, but I'm really passionate about seeing things grow and putting things together. When I saw Vernon, I mean, he was all down. He was you gotta act this way, you gotta act that way. And I remember one time, the 2 people that was supposed to have a kissing scene, they didn't want to kiss because both of them was married. So it was Vernon's job to get them to kiss. And he gave them encouragement and told them what they was here for, and they kissed. So I was like, well, man, he's really into his craft. He's really into doing what he do. But the day of the show, I like to observe and I like to watch. So the day of the show, you know, being the pre-rehearsals and he tell them how to move, where the crowd gonna be looking at him at, and such things like that, it kind of drove me like, say, man, this is my director. I knew that I was at home. So the only thing I had to do was listen, which everybody don't understand. I had to listen to his direction too. I just didn't get on by, you know, doing what Lavelle do. I had to listen to directions. Once I listened to directions and I saw his vision, and the one thing about him and me together, that he kept on screaming to me like, I don't want to only be in DC. Like, I want to take my stuff out of DC. And I was seeing the same vision with his vision. I saw his vision before he told me. And that's when I knew he was my director.
And with anything in life, in any business you have in life, anything in life, and I'm going to say especially when you're doing stage plays, like you said, you got to dream big. You got to have growth in business. You have to have growth in life. So if you keep on doing the small venues, you're not growing. You're just doing the same thing. And everybody knows that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting something different to happen. So you can't keep doing the same thing. So Tyler Perry started out in a small venue in New Orleans. If he just stayed there, he wouldn't be where he is now. But he thought big. He thought bigger. He thought outside of his box. And for me, from the first time I met Lavelle, I always said, I want to be known as a national playwright. Not a DC playwright. I want to be known as a national playwright from Washington, D.C. Period. End the subject. So you have to think big. And when we thought about the MGM, ain't nothing bigger than the MGM. Yeah, we know the Warner Theater is the big dog in D.C. when it comes to theater, but let's think outside the box. And now we are the first stage play ever at the MGM. If that ain't thinking big, I don't know what is. So you got to think outside the box. You got to stop doing the same old thing in the same old venues and have some growth. And next, 14-city tour. Think big or stay home. We're not staying home.
You've been granted access to the Giz, baby, 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 baby.
24/7. We holler, myself.